bishop as looking at the verses that would be more. And I thought that Psalm 127, verses 3 to 5. Children are a heritage from the Lord, the offspring a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are children born in one's youth. Blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be put to shame when they contend with their opponents in court. Now, why is that important? We've heard the values of technology espoused here today. But technology is a tool. It is a tool to make sure you can stand up, young men and women, young children, to your opponents, and your opponents not in the controversial or competitive sense, but your opponents in the development. It certainly should be. And it is not something that because we are playing, and Sir Dawes will tell you, he's working around the clock, he's doing 2, 3 of these sorts of functions every day, and that is the result and the milestone of much work. But we are playing catch up because communication is essential to education. Your teachers will tell you what they went through during COVID. You talk to teachers who almost wanted to bawl because they couldn't connect with their students. They saw the impact of learning loss. They saw their students in many cases falling behind, having had great results in some cases in 2019, looking towards the school year. When March 2020 hit and we had to stop in-person classes, it wasn't just hard on students and parents, it was very hard on the teachers who weren't able to continue with their lesson plans, continue playing the role, not just as educators, but as counselors, as leaders, and as extended parents, because they weren't able to connect. But in the 21st century, the problems that we found and we shouldn't have had in 2020. So I applaud the work coming from the USF to connect communities like Steartown. Recently, I was at a launch of a similar system in the community of Haglagap, which is on the border of St. Andrew and St. Thomas. It is truly what you call, Diane, deep rural Jamaica. And I was privileged to join MP James Robertson and indeed MP and Minister in charge of the USF, Darrell Vaz. Now, as impressive as the event was, it's not the event that stands out in my mind. I was sharing with Mr. Dawes that since that event, I have several persons from the Haglagap community who are able to communicate with me on matters of water, on issues that we're having with land slippage, and those who are doing illegal logging, because they're able to benefit from the new Wi-Fi system. Now, they would not have been able to communicate with me before because phone service was terrible up there. It is truly deep rural on the side of the mountain. So that gives you an idea of one of the opportunities. That is the basic human connectivity that we will be able to improve. And that is important in a community such as Steartown. We need to use this connectivity to ensure that we are also using it to stay closer together and using it to put down conflicts when we see that they arise. But the true opportunity, boys and girls, young ladies and gentlemen, parents, and importantly teachers, will be to expand this system, Daniel, to ensure that we are able to provide connectivity for all the young men and women who live in the community. And perhaps we will need to look at a homework system. Certainly once I'm firm in the space, we will look at a homework system where only the students and teachers would have access to it between homework hours, 2 to 7, so that we don't have a bandwidth challenge. And we look at a separate system for that, and we'll talk about how to make that happen. Because I'm sure every teacher in this room, every principal in this room will see programs from time to time on YouTube, programs through things like the EduFocal systems, online tests that they would love their students to be able to do after school. Now, I'm sure parents would have no difficulty if we are able to provide this to your children. Now, it is something that I'm very firm on. Education will be a pillar of my time in this community. And I am putting other communities on notice because I'm competitive. And Ms. Lee knows I don't like to come second or third. We want the highest PEP scores in 5 years in Northeast Center. So teachers, one of the things we're going to do very early in the new year is, if you will give me the time on a weekend, me and my counselors will put aside the time along with some officials of the Ministry of Education to look at the resources you need to ensure that that is within reach. These things don't happen overnight, and we will continue to improve every year. But that has to be a target that we go for. And we look at it specifically, cluster by cluster. We look at the specific challenges that our children are having. But one of them will not be there, and that will not be a challenge of connectivity to the World Wide Web, because we will ensure that this system is multiplied and turns into other systems. And we will look at how best to use it so that it is the children and the teachers that are able to use it during homework hours most, so that you're able to get the result that you need. And we will look at the software and the hardware access that you will require. There are three other areas of education which I believe are critical to Northeast Senton being able to take advantage of these investments. Northeast Senton has more houses being built than anywhere else in Jamaica, except Bernard Lodge, which is a new development. Northeast Senton has more hotel rooms than anywhere else in Jamaica. Northeast Senton has more BPO, being business process and call center interest, than anywhere else in Senton, than anywhere else in the country. However, we have too many of our citizens, too many of our neighbors who are lagging behind, who are not able to lift themselves and their families out of poverty. And we cannot have one of the fastest growing economies as a parish, and certainly as a constituency, and our people don't benefit. And the way that they're going to be able to benefit is by ensuring that when our young boys and girls are leaving high school, they are leaving high school with the skill sets that they need to take advantage of the varying opportunities that exist. The government has already made the Heart Academy fees free, so you can go as far as an associate degree without cost. The government has done that for you. Once you excel in that space, you can go on to your degree, but there is also nothing to be lost in skills trading, because we're short by approximately 30,000 skilled workers for construction. That's a fact. Construction is not 10,000 man lifting one block anymore. Those days are over. It is technology and equipment that is doing it, so we need skilled workers. But most importantly, will be to ensure that we lift the standard of living for our people in Northeast Senton will be the educational level. Because if a BPO worker makes X in the rest of the country, Northeast Senton needs to have the quality of education to ensure we make X plus Y plus Z. Because ultimately we need to ensure we have so many skilled young people, and the internet will no doubt help it. The internet access will give us the opportunity. So we're going to work with the teachers to make sure that you use the internet to access the programs, that those who are lagging behind in math are able to use the sorts of internet games that help them to get better at math. Those who are lagging behind in English are able to do the sorts of first aid in English programs that you see online now that allow them to practice and to get stronger. And we're also going to use it to ensure that Northeast Senton becomes the first bilingual parish in Jamaica, because Northeast Senton acknowledges that with the volume and the thousands of tourists that come here annually, we need to also be able to speak Spanish and French. We need to make sure that when tourists come here, they are so comfortable in moving around because we're able to engage them. We need to ensure that no matter who calls a BPO, they are able to choose which language they want to speak and be able to speak to you. Now, why is that important? Because you will earn 40 to 70% more than what the average hotel worker or what the average BPO worker earns. So we are going to be a model community through massive investments in education. It will be the lion's share of the CDF, and it will be the lion's share of my lobbying time to ensure our schools are properly resourced, that we get Wi-Fi everywhere, and that you then have the access to the number of tablets you need, number of computers you need, and the software that best prepares you for the modern world. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, boys and girls. And most importantly, in his absence, I thank, through the USF and Mr. Dawes, I thank Minister Vaz for his continued support of the children of Jamaica, the adults of Jamaica, through this Wi-Fi investment. Thank you.
Very much. Give Minister another round of applause, everybody. The Bible says, without vision, Bishop, talk to me now, man. I like talk to you, you know. Without vision, the people perish. A man of vision. A man of vision. I love that. And the fluff don't work with me. I like a hard-working man. Sometimes they say you are a little bit a slave driver, but it's not that you're a slave driver. You want the work done. And you must be determined, you must be purposeful, and you must have some vision. Give Minister another big round of applause. All right, Ms. Brady. So we are going to be doing some tablet distribution. Minister, come this way. Mr. Morgan. Everybody should know your name by now.
Good afternoon. I'm going to call the names individually and you just come up. Oh, okay. So the first student is Christian McLegon from Steertown Academy. You're going to look in the camera direction. So to the, take it out the bag.
Give him a big round of applause.
The, the next student is Jaziel Brown, Steertown Academy. The next student is Sarisa Beetle from Ocherias High. Bag. The next student is DeAndrea Patton from Steertown Academy. For the, smile, smile. The next student is Jay Solomon. He's not here today, but someone may be collecting on his behalf. The counselor. No. All students who received it can come back to have a group pic.
All right. Vote of thanks is who? Miss Lawrence, where are you? Latoya Lawrence. Vote of thanks. Give Latoya a big round of applause as she comes.
Good afternoon. I stand here today a proud and grateful member of the Steertown community. to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Daniel Dawes, the CEO of Universal Service Fund, Mr. Jamie Robinson, Director of Projects for the Universal Service Fund, for taking the initiative to offer the Steertown community a digital upgrade by providing Wi-Fi. It is well needed, and we are in a technological era, so we are happy for it, and it will be utilized positively by all for the good and for the upliftment of each other. Gratitude must also be extended to the Honorable Matthew Samudo, Minister with our portfolio in the Ministry of Economics, Growth and Job Creation, our Counselor for the Limol Division, Mrs. Gordon Bailey, and the representative from the Social Development Commission for their collaboration with the Universal Service Fund to make it a possibility. We are grateful for your support and encouragement through this initiative, as it will not only connect us to education or for education and entertainment, but it will connect us as a community to each other and to the wider community, which is the world. Last, but certainly not least, I must express thanks and gratitude to the Reverend Bishop Mario Reed for your prior sir, members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, principal, educators, and students from the community institutions, members of the Seattle Methodist Church, for honoring us with your presence here today. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Latoya. I must make or say special thanks once again to Councillor Bailey for bringing off this success. Give her a big round of applause. Yeah. All right, so we are going to do the unveiling now, just right in the crossroad there. So all of us are heading now to the crossroad to do the unveiling. When we leave here, we are heading to Edge Hill to do another launch. I thank you very much. Give yourself a big round of applause. Everybody.